Ladies and gentlemen, dear experts, welcome to this COLACP Training of Trainers course. The title of this sequence is Adult Education. In this sequence, we are going to cover 3 points. A few words to start with, what is involved in adult education, what are the roles of the trainer. A few words to start with. Adult education has always existed, and long before schools. It is the ancient tradition of passing on a trade from a master craftsman to an apprentice. To be a COLACP expert trainer is to be an expert in one or more technical fields, able to provide technical assistance to companies or public services, but also to be able to communicate effectively and to strengthen the skills of managers, executives, and workers, to become a master craftsman too. The role of a trainer is to respond to identified needs for specific behavior change and performance. Trainers understand how adults learn and how to structure training activities that will help them work better. Training should not simply be imparting knowledge. The training should guide participants through activities in which they are invited to participate and apply their knowledge. A trainer is not a teacher. In academic learning at school, the student receives information, follows instructions, depends on the teacher, has no control over the learning process, is motivated to learn by forces outside society, family, religion, tradition, and does not necessarily see the immediate benefit of it, has no control over the topics or content of the learning which are set by the teacher. In adult learning, the learner offers ideas based on experience, acts interdependently, actively participates, exercises control over the learning process, is self-motivated to learn, that is, can see the immediate benefit of the training and often apply the learning immediately, makes choices that influence learning. Themes and content are based on issues that arise in the workplace and in daily life. What is involved in adult education? Training involves leading a group of adult participants from a shared situation, characterized by a demand or need for skills, to a final situation, a goal, an ideal to be reached concerning the skills to be mastered. The trainer must design a learning strategy to achieve this goal, starting from the context and the needs of the learners for effective implementation of their skills in the field. In designing this learning strategy, the trainer must take into account the way adults learn. The question then is, how do adults learn? We can identify 6 essential characteristics. 1. Need. To be motivated to learn, adults need to know why they are learning. If the training is aimed at a change in practice, a change in behavior at work, then their question is, what is my interest in changing, in adopting this new behavior? 2. Specificity. The way adults learn is specific to each individual. It is very different from one person to another. This is due to the variety of adult experiences. Before being based on the acquisition of knowledge, adult learning is based on experience. Prior knowledge plays a key role in learning. Knowledge is essentially cumulative. New knowledge combines with prior knowledge to either confirm, complement, or oppose it. 3. Usefulness. Adults prefer to learn what will be useful to them in the short term in their workplace or personal life. This is why adults expect training to be related to their professional practice or daily reality. 4. Motivation. During training, participants are not motivated by the trainer's exhortations, such as, "It's for your own good, you will need it." Adults become more involved in training activities when they can evaluate their learning by themselves, when they can assess for themselves how the new learning corresponds to their needs and expectations. 5. Group influence. Social aspects are important in adult learning, including the role of the influence of others, such as more experienced individuals in the acquisition of knowledge within a group or team. Through their communication with others and differences of opinion, learners will become aware of their own thinking, their own representations, and those of others, and then they will reconsider them in order to build new knowledge. 6. Participation. Learning through experimentation, role-playing, and confronting situations and problems is more suitable for adults than the simple transmission of knowledge. The training must guide the participants through activities in which they can participate and apply their knowledge. What are the roles of the trainer? Training is quite different from school teaching. Training aims at acquiring professional skills, whereas teaching is mainly focused on general skills, reading, writing, arithmetic, science, etc. Beyond the terminology, between pedagogy and andragogy, the working hypotheses are very different as to what is considered effective. There are several ways to distinguish between teaching and training. Relationship management. Teaching. Students are dependent on the teacher's expertise. They just need to know what they need to learn. In training, adult learners need to know why they are learning, and they need to be treated as individuals capable of managing their own learning. Motivation to learn. In teaching, students are motivated by grades and/or teacher approval. But in training, adult learners are motivated by the desire to increase their self-esteem and job satisfaction. Application of experience. In teaching, students' experience is of little use in learning. Only the teacher's expertise counts. But in training, adult learners bring their own experiences to the training, and the trainer must make use of these experiences. Willingness to learn. Teaching exists only if students want to succeed. Training exists where the knowledge acquired allows adult learners to deal with concrete situations that concern them. System of learning. In teaching, the acquisition of learning on a given subject is based on disseminated content in the classic form of lectures. In training, the acquisition and assimilation of knowledge are applied in real terms and in context situations. Learning strategy. In teaching, the teacher alone decides what will be learned, when and how. When deciding lessons, teachers ask themselves, what do my students need to know? In training, with heterogeneous groups, it is necessary to personalize the learning. When preparing training, trainers ask themselves, what do my adult learners need? Each trainer will approach a training course according to their own perceptions. What constitutes effective training? Key issues in adult education. Elements of the professional context in which the participants work. What they feel is their role as a trainer. It is important for trainers to clarify their own perceptions in order to determine the teaching methods they will use and the role they plan to adopt. For example, we can distinguish the main characteristics and roles of three main types of trainers: the speaker, the coach, and the facilitator. A classic traditional approach, the speaker. The trainer is the one who knows and organizes the learning to transmit their knowledge to the participants. The challenge mainly focuses on memorizing and understanding the content transmitted. The trainer prepares by focusing on the message to be conveyed, usually in form of presentations, followed by interactive exchanges to assess levels of understanding of the message. An approach focused on changing learners' behavior, the coach. The coach manages tactics, strategies, and training, and provides moral support to participants. Through exercises or role-playing, the trainer creates an environment that allows for the testing of situations, using the facts arising during the training to value the participants, that is positive reinforcement. Allow time for analysis. Debriefings are organized after the exercise to help participants become aware of what they have experienced, both externally, concrete effects of the exercise, relations with others, etc., and internally, understanding of the task, reasoning used, behavior adopted, etc. The trainer prepares by creating exercises that test and repeat the expected behavior, evaluating the effects of the behavior and its repeatability. An action-based approach, the facilitator. The trainer creates a learning environment that enables participants to take action. It is by acting, by doing something, that we learn. This can be a case study or even the realization of a project. This is called learning by doing. The trainer guides the learners through objectives and instructions, and the learners are in control of their own learning process. The learning is evaluated by both participants and the trainer through the presentation of deliverables, written, visual, or objects. The trainer prepares by choosing methods, techniques, and tools, composing work instructions that to be used by the participants to carry out the activities. There is no single approach to the role of the trainer that will be effective in all circumstances. On the contrary, it may be necessary to adopt several of these roles depending on the intended learning or the sequence of the training. It is important that each trainer should be able to identify the role they wish to play in relation to adult learning. The choice of roles will depend on the trainer, but also on the context or characteristics of the participants. What is important here is the need to ask yourself about the training approach you wish to use. What content, and how can the learners be brought to connect with the content? What relationships, trainer to learners, and also learners to learners, and how to regulate these relationships? What methods, techniques, and tools should be favored in for this learning approach?